Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine.
Now, how is life as the provost of NIJ? How has life been?
Interesting. You know, once I drive into the premises, it's a school environment. A different atmosphere it is for me. Because the way I see myself that as you drive in, everybody, staff and students are looking up to the provost. So you are actually teaching by example in the way you dress, in the way you talk, in the way you conduct your life, and the kind of drinks you take there. So life at NIJ is interesting for me. It's a restraining one where you are expected to provide leadership, not just for the staff, but for the young ones who see a sitting editor-in-chief and general manager as their provost. Many of them, whether you like it or not, will see you as role model. They will aim you think you have become.
The network is just
So far, so good. I spent a year and 2 months there now. I'm working with very pleasant people, very exciting individuals, people who are forthright, people who are also ambitious. They want to do greatly for that school. They want the school to be properly established as the finishing school for journalism. So I'm part of that dream. I'm part of that reformatting. And what we are trying to do is to practice what we teach. Not just teach the kids theories, but teach them the practice like we are doing now. That's why we set up a radio station. That's why we are setting up a newspaper. And that's why we've brought in somebody to come and start. We are starting the film academy because we also want them to think entrepreneurship, not just leave NIJ and begin to look for jobs. And in any case, don't forget some of the people who are also coming to NIJ. Some of them are already working. Some of them are superstars like you. Some of them are sitting editors. Some of them are general managers in advertising agencies. Some are beautiful copywriters. So it's been a beautiful experience. It's good. I'm enjoying it now. I didn't plan to go there, but I'm enjoying it now. And so I hope I make a difference by the time I leave there.
interesting. Now, talking about making a difference, in the last 1 year and 2 months, that you've been there, what would you describe as your greatest accomplishment in the last 1 year and 2 months?
Greatest achievement?
Yeah.
Would I be able to point out an achievement? I would rather that people assess me. But what we are trying to do, really, is to build a team that is as confident and as forthright. And I know that the people are excited at the kind of exposure that is being given to the school. I know both the staff and students are excited that they will have competitive kits, equipment to work with like they have gone to the University of Lagos. And I know that, and that is based on some of the things that we've been able to achieve. Like I'm proud to mention that the radio thing that we started, that we got the license and the frequency, even where people thought it was not possible. I'm also happy to say that even before we apply and got the license, we started online radio. We call it pen radio. So the convocation, for instance, that we did on Monday, Tuesday, it was broadcast live online like we are doing now, and the whole world was able to see. And I think those things excite them. So if you ask me what have been the achievements, it's in identify the right direction to take the school. And you know, we have a new chairman of council, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, who was chairman of that council 32 years ago. He came after 32 years to be the chairman again. And the idea, according to him, is to take NIJ back to the original dream of the founders, a finishing school, where everybody, especially those who didn't study mass communication or journalism, will want to go and perfect their craft, get the right skill, and make a difference in the profession. So that is the way it is. But to answer your question, I would rather that people talk about what we've done than me saying so. I believe I'm just starting. But wait, when we have this newspaper,
Okay,
I just have to publishing. Yes,
okay, sir.
we will publish.
Now, what do you what do you normally miss, or what do you miss most? You know, about the newsroom. You know, considering that you spent the greater part, you know, until maybe a few years ago, you were always in the newsroom. So, what do you miss most about the newsroom?
Oh, well, I try to allow the editor to call it shots. Maybe that's what I miss. But I'm lucky to have an editor that, as I'm still in the newsroom, I am in the newsroom. There is no day I go to Vanguard that I don't visit the newsroom. I may be working from the back end. The editor always consulting. We are developing the perspectives, the direction of the business together. So I've really not left the newsroom, except that it was like in my earlier days where I was a member of the bar. I had a time in the evening we'll share the drinks together. I'm not always there anymore to do that. And as that, I'm still in the newsroom. And I'm also trying to create a newsroom at NIJ.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Now, which was the last story you wrote before you assumed office at NIJ?
No, I stopped writing the stories years back. Even when I wrote stories, I wasn't competing for bylines with my staff. I either pass the story to them or reward the stories, and they'll be anonymous. I won't remember which one. But I tell you, I still say almost all the stories, even today, because the stories are sent to the editor, the news editor. They are also sent to me for me to sometimes criticize, sometimes advise, and that is it. So ask me to tell you about the last story I wrote. I wish I can remember.
Okay. Can you remember the last interview you conducted? When you were very active.
No, I still won't remember, but an interview I never forgot was the first interview with General Babangida outside of office. The year now I have to remember. I remember when we finished the interview, before I got to Lagos, he called my publisher and said he didn't know what I did to charm him, that he said to me what much more than he should have said, and that if I actually, to protect me, he had to go and speak to BBC so that General Abacha would not come for me. That's the last one, big one I will remember. That was no. Don't forget also, most of my life I spent in newspaper production and management.
Okay.
Most of it. Yeah, most of that.
Your active days back then, you know, at Vanguard, how would you sum it up?
Mm-hmm. Exciting.
Your active days back then.
As you stop drawing the line, I'm still very active at Vanguard. Yes, don't draw the line because the line is imaginary. I've not left Vanguard.
Okay.
What I do, you can't get me to do anything outside Vanguard on Mondays. You can't. I don't take appointments. I don't go anywhere. It's full-time at Vanguard on Monday. Tuesday, I give to NIJ because an assignment that was given to me by the publisher of Vanguard, amongst others. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm at Vanguard. So I'm still at Vanguard. So don't draw the line. I'm still acting there and I'm enjoying my stay at Vanguard.
Okay, that's well noted. That's well noted. So, what would you describe, in your active days when you were the editor? Okay, let's say when you were the editor, what was the best story or the best edition that you did that you can remember? Let's think about the best edition or the best story that you remember that Vanguard carried or ran, during your time as the editor of the paper.
As we ran so many and too many stories. But I remember one particular controversial one when Uncle Bola was Minister of Power and Energy. And we ran a story about 12.something billion that was for energy, for the committee headed by Lei Mokide, who was Special Advisor on Energy. It was controversial because there were deniers. But for the publisher that I have in my job, but my publisher will stand by you, especially when you are sure that you are not compromised, you are not taking money, you are not corrupt about it. That was the one I still remember as for news story. But my time as editor of Vanguard really was dedicated largely to running courses. We chose a topic. If you go back to Vanguard of 88, 89, 90, you will see a lot of campaign run by Vanguard on democracy, on the Niger Delta courses, on marginalization. They were serious to the extent that if you wanted to drive a course, I know one or two persons actually approached us and suggested theme to us to drive courses about. And that was how we were able to establish those bridgehead into those markets. That season was dedicated largely to running campaigns. Campaign for democracy, campaign for restitution for Niger Delta, campaign for Abiola's, for democracy really, and all of that. So that was what we did.
Interesting.